Terry, what's on your mind?
Oh, good morning, James. It's good that you're talking about this. It's a really important debate. It's probably not going to be resolved this morning.
How dare you?
But I think what you're suggesting is quite a dangerous route to go down. And the reason for that is I think that as individual human beings, we have a basic right to choose what goes into our body, what other people put into our body, and what we do with our body.
Yes,
and I think that is a fundamental right. And if other people, i.e. the government or workplace or whatever, start telling us that this, I'm sorry, we're going to have to impose this on your body because this
no one's saying that. You can swerve the vaccine if you want, but don't bother coming back to work.
Yeah, but if workplaces start saying you can only work,
they're not compromising your freedom to refuse medicine.
No, but if workplaces start saying you can only work for us if you've had the jab, where's that going to end? You could get.
Well, it's going to end with workplaces saying that you can only work for us if you've had the jab.
Yeah, but what supposed to be?
No, that's where it's going to end, Terry.
What about supermarkets? If they start saying you can only shop here.
Well, then we'd have a conversation about that. But if ifs and buts were pots and pans, no, it's not the same thing at all. Because I mean, for a start, the contract between a shopkeeper and a customer is very different from the contract between a shopkeeper and a shop worker.
But it's the same.
No, it really isn't. It doesn't become the same principle if you keep saying it. If management can reserve the right to refuse admission to anyone they want. We've all seen that above the door in a pub, haven't we?
Okay. Are we talking about private businesses?
No, we're not talking about anything, Terry, except the employer having the right to say, "Don't come to work unless you've had a vaccine."
Well, suppose the NHS.
And you're talking about something very different. Yeah, but stop saying "suppose." The NHS said that.
If this comes in, if more and more private employees,
mate, if the NHS said you can't come to work unless you've been vaccinated, I would lead the applause for them every night of the flipping week. Never mind just Thursdays. You want people working in the NHS who are infectious.
But should that be mandatory for all nurses?
Well, of course it should.
Well, if it does become mandatory, I agree with you, James. It is the best thing to do, but people should be persuaded.
Okay, let's turn it the other way around. I understand your reservations. Do you think that a child whose parents have religious beliefs about blood transfusions should be prevented from having a blood transfusion if it was going to save their life?
No, but it should be offered to them. But if they refuse,
then that's where we disagree.
You can't force them to.
Yes, because you can. You can force them to, and we have forced them to. The courts have forced them to in the past, and parents do not have a right to refuse blood transfusions for their children, whatever their religious beliefs might be. So there we are. Yeah, I suppose you could refuse it. You could refuse it for yourself. We see the state there stepping in as in loco parentis. But a blood transfusion is going to save your life. A vaccine potentially is going to protect everybody else. That's the point of society. So I understand what you're saying. I don't buy it as a big enough objection. And when you have to reach for, well, if we do this today, we might not be able to go to Tesco's tomorrow. I just remind you, we're only talking about today. It's complicated enough. Without bringing in theoretical examples or theoretical exacerbations.